Today our hosts are J.B. Portillo and Kristy Snyder. And we will be talking about HVAC, preventative care, and let's go fishing. And now to the studio for our program.
Hey there, good morning. I am so excited today. My name is J.B. Portillo. Most all of you know me, but I'm excited because I always have amazing guests. We know this. But I also have a new co-host today, Kristy Snyder. Hi, Kristy.
Hey, girl.
We're going to do some amazing things going forward, aren't we?
We already are.
I know that. Give us a little Kristy notes, not Cliff Notes, but just a little bit about you so they'll know what they're getting into.
Wow. Well, I'm relatively new to Bella Vista. Been here about a year from Arizona, and I just moved where the rain was. So I'm really fortunate that we've had a lot, and I am blessed to be here. I used to be on the radio a long time ago, and I'm just happy now to be in front of the camera when I gain so much more insight. So thanks for having me.
Oh, you bet. And we've got some really exciting change of format coming up, don't we?
Yes, we do.
For this show.
It is gonna
So
be worth
let's
watching.
immediately go to one of those fabulous guests I was just talking about. And this is my friend, because you've been here before, David Schaible.
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 Nice to be back here. I just have to say this studio looks awesome, by the way.
Well, you and Pam are huge supporters of the TV station. We appreciate it, and some of your donation has gone to do this amazing stuff. So thank you.
Thank you. It's good to be back on here with you.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, we were talking before we went on set here. You have a really long history with Bella Vista in this area. Why don't you tell us about you and give us some of that?
Okay. Well, it goes way back to the 70s when we used to travel over here from Siloam Springs, and I used to look forward to coming over here as a kid. And when Dad said we were driving over here for the day, it was a treat. And there wasn't much here at the time, but as a kid, it seemed like a lot. And we took advantage of all the pools and played golf and everything else. And I got to watch the village develop into what it is today. So we eventually moved over here in the mid-'80s. My dad was asked to build a church or try to start a church in the Highlands, and I, as a kid at 19 or whatever age I just didn't see the big picture, because if anyone has been back here that long, you know that there wasn't much out in the Highlands at that time. I'm guessing there might have been 1,000 houses, if that. And he presented his idea to the Coopers, and at the time they were nice enough to let them borrow the sales office that overlooks Lake Loch Lomond.
Oh.
And so I remember helping set up chairs in there, and on Sunday morning we'd have a few people come in, and then a few weeks later more people would come in, and next thing you know, they proposed the idea of building a church out in the Highlands. And when they showed me where it was at, I really kind of doubted it, but it's way out there, and JB, you probably go by it every day on your way to your house.
I do, right across the street from my house, actually.
So it happened, and I think that's a pretty large congregation now, from what I understand.
Yes.
But it just goes to show that things can happen, and they happen for a reason. We finally, like I said, we moved over here, and I've been here ever since. I started my first company back in the 90s, 94. And I made the mistake of using my name because I thought, I want everybody to know it's David Scheible's Heat and Air Company. I say it was a mistake because nobody could pronounce my name or spell it. So we're a little easier to find now. It's P&D, and of course, Pam, my wife, is the P and I'm the D. So over time, we've grown the business into what it is today, and we love the community. We live here, and we like seeing what's happening around here.
Well, I know you do an awful lot of things for the community. I think you're sponsoring some of the upcoming Pro-Am golf tournament. You
it's
do
one
all
of my
kinds
favorites.
of, yeah. Are you playing in it by any chance?
If I'm allowed to, I have to ask the P of the D.
I gotcha.
Yeah, we like to donate to like the animal shelter. We do that, and there's several other things that we like to sponsor. We do the farmers market, and we're participants in the last Bella Vista Business Association's event.
What about the parade?
We signed up for the parade.
Did you?
Yes, we did. We're waiting to hear
Fabulous.
back from, is it Kristy? Pam takes care of that part of it, but we're waiting to hear back. We plan to be in it, yes.
That's
awesome.
fabulous.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'd ride on our float.
Well, I could probably maybe put some air conditioning on.
Oh my God.
We need it right now, don't
We
we?
do.
It
Fabulous.
came hard and fast, and we tried to get people just to be proactive and get their systems checked out.
So tell us about the preventative maintenance thing that you do, because that's what right now, that's what people should be doing, right?
They should have done it
Already.
before now.
Okay.
But we will still honor what we said we would back in spring, and we'll come out and super tune your system. We come from a point of education, or we try to, so by the time we get done, you're gonna know more about your system than the last guy ever told you. And that's our goal. Some of it may be good, some may be bad, but at least you'll have some markers so you'll know going forward what could happen, what might happen. And the neat thing about our service is your system's probably going to qualify for our service club. And that's something I've put together over the 32 years I've been in heating and air conditioning. I tried to find out exactly what was right for you as the customer and your equipment. So we have this service club available. It's a yearly maintenance service club. So once you sign up for it, you're on a priority list. So if you did have a breakdown or a failure, we kind of put you above the crowd. You get 2 preventative services a year, one in the spring, one in the fall. You get a free $89 service call during the year, and then you get deep discounts on any parts, repairs, or even in the event that you need a new unit, you'll have a discount on that as well.
So let me ask you, with inflation, which we're all starting to feel right now, are you seeing the cost of units going?
That's a very good question.
Going up?
Everybody's being hit with it, so it's an equal playing field for all the people in the heating and air conditioning business. There was actually 2 increases this year alone. There was one towards the beginning of the year, and we just had another one on June 1st.
Do you anticipate another?
I get asked that question, and I really hope not, because as it is with the increase in the actual systems themselves, we're at an 8% increase.
How much?
8%.
Okay.
And that's nationwide. That's with all manufacturers from what I've been told. Materials are already up 15%. So that's the other part of the coin. The other side of the coin is any materials, the copper lines, the ductwork. With those 2 increases alone, it's caused a change out, for instance, to go up almost $1,000. And that's not taking into consideration the increase in labor or overhead or any of that. So I really pray that it doesn't, because it's going to come down to where people will have to find another way to make it happen. We do offer financing though, so that's
good to know.
That's a secondary side to things to where people can find a way to do it.
So between your maintenance plan and the financing plan, it sounds like you're willing to work with people.
We are. We love our customers, and we love this community, and can't wait to see it turn into something even better than it already is.
So is there a delay in getting these units serviced? as far as the parts? Is there a delay in the parts?
We're seeing some manufacturers are having problems, and I think it goes back to the whole COVID thing. There was a lot of layoffs resulting from COVID, so they're ramping up again in the manufacturing world, and I think it's that way with anything.
Right.
So there is a lot of stuff that wasn't produced. They had to pick and choose. What do we decide to produce, and what do we put on the back burner? So some of the lower SEER ratings, and when I say SEER rating, it's the seasonal energy efficiency rating of the equipment. Basic SEER rating is 14. You go up to 20 if you wanted to. They started kind of putting the 14s, you know, back on the back burner.
Right.
They were seeing more need for 16 SEER. So if you wanted a 14, it might be a little harder to get, and it's kind of a pick and choose type of situation right now.
So David, if I wanted to be your customer, which I am, but let's just say
Thank
I
you,
was a
David.
new customer,
Right.
how would I get a hold of you?
We have an office manager, Emily, and she can be reached at 479-936-4932. And we are on Facebook and Instagram, and we have a website, pdhvacllc.com. Any way you want to get a hold of us, you can. I check Messenger constantly for people. We get a lot of leads on a lot of the different Bella Vista associations on Facebook. We're pretty easy to get a hold of, and right now we have not had to turn anybody away.
You know, I like what
good.
it says on your website. It says emergencies happen and that you always have somebody on call.
Yes.
And you even have a special little link on there that if you really are in an emergency, that you'll be there, if at all possible.
If at all possible.
At all possible. I think that's fabulous because there's a little link on there, folks. It says, in case of an emergency, click here, and it's.
And that actually, it doesn't ring directly to my phone, but I get the result of that call coming in. So I'm on top of everything. I'm not just one of the owners of the company. I go out on job sites. I put my tool belt on and go out there when we're covered up. I'm not in the shadows.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so I think there's some other things that you wanted to talk about today.
Right. So tell us what you do with the military.
Oh, okay. Well, we have a lot of family members that served in the military. Actually, I got my father-in-law. He's down visiting us from North Dakota, and he was in the military. My uncles, my brother, my dad. We're fond of the military. We're fond of first responders. This is a different story, but they saved my life and my wife's here in Bella Vista, actually. So we like to extend our gratitude back to veterans, military, first responders, and the like. So senior discounts, that's very important to me. I can go back to the 90s when I put a system in for somebody, and they're probably my age, and we've lost a lot of customers because of the fact that we all get older, and I always was grateful for being able to say that I started out with some of these people, and now I'm doing stuff for their kids, and so you give back. It just pays off when you give back. So we just extend that out there, and we hope that helps people out.
Well, one more time, because it goes across the screen pretty fast. Let's say again your phone number and your how to get a hold of you.
So feel free to call anytime, 479-936-4932, and you'll probably talk to Emily, and we get a lot of comments about how nice
Emily's a
Emily is.
doll.
Right, I'd like to bring her on here sometime, but
She has to answer your phone while you're here.
she does. And Facebook seems to be, and I'm not a promoter of Facebook, but it seems like if you want to know anything about anybody, even things you don't want to know sometimes, you just open Facebook up. But There's a lot of different Facebook groups. I won't mention any of the names, but you guys probably know.
You
what they
can.
are.
Positively Bella Vista.
Yes, that's one of them.
Bella Vista Neighbors.
Bella Vista Neighbors,
Yeah.
Moms in the Know, Centerton Living,
There's the Nextdoor app as well.
the Nextdoor app. We seem to pop up on those when people ask for recommendations.
Well, word of mouth is probably the best advertisement anyway, right?
Well, I was going to say that
Yeah.
we don't spend money like some of the bigger box companies on just hammering out advertisement after advertisement. I would say that 98% of our business has been by word of mouth and referrals. And I kind of coined the phrase building our business one referral at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the way we planned it to happen. That's the way we're going to go forward with our business. Pam and I are constantly trying to work with the communities around here and just make sure that they know that there's another choice. You don't have to go with the biggest company around and get good service.
Support local.
Support local. We do support local. By
Yes,
the way.
you do. Yes, you do. Well, David, you know what? I'm always enjoy talking with you, and I
Always
always stop
pleasure.
by your booth at the farmers
Yes.
market
Yes.
and all of that. So this is a good guy.
This is a good guy, especially if you're going to put air on our float.
Oh yeah,
That would be sweet.
wouldn't that be?
That would be great.
Hey, let's work on that. I'm not afraid of anything.
Well, hey, thank you so much for being
Thank
with
you
us
for
today.
asking me to
Thanks,
be here.
David.
You guys
Bet.
are great.
Yeah. Well, we're going to break, so we'll be back.
We
in a
will
second.
be right back.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Bella Vista Community Television presents our sponsor appreciation. Audrey's Resale Boutique, located in Forest Hills. Find the perfect item for your home decor. Beautiful collections, quality clothing, and more. Make your dreams come true at Audrey's.
Welcome back. Here is our host, JB and Kristy.
Hey there, everybody. You know, I told you earlier that we only have fabulous guests, and I just am the luckiest person ever because I had a service done at my house not too long ago, and this young man that I'm about to introduce to you came and did that, and it was fabulous. But then I discovered he has a whole new talent. So I would like you to meet Clayton
Eliasen.
Eliasen.
Yep.
I'm so
Eliasen.
sorry.
That's okay. That's all right.
Anyway, you are multi-talented.
Some people say that. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm a fishing guide. I fish about 200 days a year.
Yeah.
And all over the Ozarks, everything within about 3 hours of Bella Vista, I guide on. Run several different boats, so I can cover everything from 2 inches deep to whatever lake we want to fish. So.
Who's your buddy?
Jill the guide dog. This is she's a rescue, and I rescued her about 2 years ago
She's
from a fire
bowing.
station. Yeah.
She's
She's
bowing
all
to
for the
everyone.
attention. You're gonna knock that table over, kid. So this is my guide dog, Jill the guide dog. She goes on about 90% of the guide trips with me. So,
So
and
there she
she's
is.
done on stage.
She's done.
Cool.
All right, I've had my debut, Dad. I'm going to go check out the cameraman.
Yeah. She'll be back.
So does she help you find fish?
You know, she just kind of hangs out, and if
Hey,
fishing
baby
is
girl.
slow, kids love to play with her. So she enjoys going to the river, and she just kind of does her thing. So.
I think you said earlier that people sometimes recognize her before they recognize you.
Yeah, I get recognized all the time with her on the river. People come up to me and they're like, "Man, I know your dog from somewhere." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's Jill the guide dog." And they're like, "Yes, your Red's Guide Service." That's who you. So yeah, she's more famous than I am, which is fine. She's cute.
Does she catch fish?
No, she's tried to net them. She'll pick up the net in her mouth and try to net them. I don't know if she processes what she's doing, but she thinks it's funny, and she'll end up just licking the fish and licking you and gets all excited, and she loves to congratulate people when they catch fish. So.
Oh, well, you know, you said something pretty interesting a while ago. You said Red's Guide Service.
Yeah, they started calling me Red in the Army because nobody could pronounce my last name. So red hair, Reds.
Yeah.
My dad and I were riding around in the truck trying to come up with a company name, and He's like, well, your nickname's Red. Why don't you just go with Red's Guide Service? And
Yeah.
so here we are.
So where do you guide?
I guide about everything within about 3 hours. Kind of some of the most popular stuff I do is the Elk River and all of its tributaries, which is here close to Bella Vista, right across the state line of Missouri. I work with a lodge in Crane, Missouri, which is about 45 minutes or so. We've got a really beautiful stream up there. We can bring people into the lodge and do some trout fishing for some wild trout up there. Do the tailwaters, go over to Cotter quite a bit and run Bull Shoals and Norfolk over there. Do the lower Illinois for the striper on fly rods. Do the north end of Beaver. I do 10 trips a year on the north end of Beaver with a fly rod. That's all I do.
Why the north end?
It's easier for fly fishing. It's a lot prettier, and the stripers are a little bit more. They're on main lake points, and there's a lot more of them to hit up there.
Okay.
So we do 10 trips a year. They're normally booked out because it's a super exclusive thing. It's a very short window that we can do it, but they'll come up and eat on the surface, and so you can throw a fly rod and catch a 20-pound striper on a fly rod, and that's a pretty exciting thing. Lower Illinois has some striper in it that we'll chase with fly rods. Norfolk above the lake has some there, and then we go over Taneycomo, which is in Branson.
Yes.
Below Taneycomo, you've got what they call Powerside Dam. That kind of rolls right into Norfolk, and so the stripers run up there, the walleye run up there, and we'll go up there and catch those on fly rods. Sometimes traditional tackle, but normally fly rods up there. And then we do walleye fishing on Taylor Rock in the spring, and that's kind of what we do.
So you talked about walleye and trout, and what other fish are around here?
Do a lot of smallmouth fishing around here. The Ozarks has a really special fishery. They grow very slow here.
Why?
You know, we've tried to figure that out, and I don't have the sciencey answer for you there.
Okay.
I know they're a different subspecies of smallmouth. I don't know if that's what it is. I'm not sure. But a 12-inch smallmouth in the Ozarks is about 8 years old. Yeah, and then your 16-inch, which in the Ozarks, a 16-inch smallmouth, that's kind of your what you consider a trophy. But a 16-incher, about 14 years old. So they grow really slow. They're super smart. They're hard to catch. So we target those a bunch. But I specialize in walleye, trout, and smallmouth. We've got every freshwater species around, but those are kind of what I specialize in.
Is it catch and release, or are you?
Smallmouth, yes, catch and release. Trout, we do have put and take fisheries here. So Arkansas does a phenomenal job of stocking below beaver dams. So yeah, if clients want to keep their within those regulations, we can keep those fish. Walleye, we can keep those. Some people want to. Some people just want to catch a giant. And we're one of the few places, because of our strict regulations, walleye have to be 18 inches to keep in the state of Arkansas and in the state of Missouri. So our average walleye, you're looking at 24 to 25 inches, whereas you go to Canada where the numbers are great, but the size is like 15 inches. So we have people, I bring in people from all over Canada, Minnesota, the Dakotas. They all fly in to fish with me on Taylor Rock and have their chance at a 30-inch, which is about a 10 to 12 pound walleye. So we spend our spring doing that.
Well, you know, you said something earlier that I thought was fascinating. It's really a total package here. You're not just fishing. What else? What's it like going out with you?
Well, so depending on the trip, I've got a film student that comes with me and does videography, which is not my thing. So they do that. They put a phenomenal film together, a short film. We give that to the clients. I've got a couple of different photographers that come with me, professional photographers. So they're doing it to expand what they do. Mm-hmm. So my clients get
portfolio.
Yeah, they get professional pictures taken. So they get that. I also take care of a lot of the lodging when people come in. I work with a few different Airbnbs. like I said, a lodge up in Missouri. So the lodge I can bring sleeps 6 people. I can also put a camper up there for additional sleeping. But we do wild turkey hunts, deer hunts, and wild trout fishing all in
Surf
one
and
place.
turf.
Yeah, we do it all. So because I've born and raised in Benton County, 4th generation born and raised here, I've been around forever. I kind of know, I say I know everybody. Used to, you actually did know everybody. Now it's growing a little too fast for that.
Yeah.
But because I've been here, I can offer clients really anything that they want. Because I know who to work with, who not to, and we can put a package together specifically for what they want.
So how do we get a hold of you?
Text or phone call is probably the best way. My phone number is probably popping up somewhere. I don't know. It's 479-366-1402. Facebook, Instagram are both really good ways to get a hold of me. Follow me on Red's Guide Service on either of those. Easiest way to keep track of kind of what we're targeting, what kind of fish are biting. You can always send me a message on either of those. Call me. If you see me in town, stop me, talk to me. That happens all the time. My wife hates it. If I'm with my wife and I'm at a restaurant, let us eat, please. Talk to me in the parking lot. Because that happens all the time. I didn't think I was famous till I started getting recognized, and I don't think I'm famous, but like everybody loves talking about fishing, so we get stopped all the time. So feel free to talk to me if you see me in town.
So you take any skill level?
Yeah, I've been doing this long enough. One of my favorite things to do, I've taken the Girl Scout troops out. And I don't know if they're like 5 to 7. I don't know what they fall into.
Brownies or something?
Yeah, something like that. But we took a group of 15 of them, and it was the most fun I've ever had. 15 little girls running around with fly rods. I got like 4 hooks in myself that day, but it was phenomenal. It was a ton of fun. And then I take people that are expert levels. I mean, I've learned stuff from clients on different casts and stuff like that. I've had master certified casters come fish with me. So, you know, really, truly any skill level. A lot of people say that, but I really
You don't
do take
mix
any
the skill levels though, right?
I try not to. It definitely makes it harder as a guide when you start mixing skill levels. But the Lord's blessed me enough to be busy enough that I have other guides that work for me. So if we've got multiple skill levels, then I'll bring in other guides and kind of pair this guide with this skill level, this guide with this skill level, so we can take care of groups from 1 people to 15, 20 people.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
So tell me, remind me, because I don't fish.
Sure.
Maybe I will, though. Who knows?
Absolutely.
I just went kayaking for the first time the other
did.
day.
Oh, cool.
So now
She
maybe
looks like a
it's-
pro.
Awesome.
So, but I'm curious about, and my thought just completely went away out of my head.
So
Oh,
you
licensing.
don't fish, yeah.
Licensing. Yep. So in Arkansas, that other states, you're covered under your guide. That's not the case in Arkansas or Missouri. So you do have to get a license. If you're coming in from out of state, you can get a 3-day license. If you need a trout stamp, you've got to get that as well. You can get that online. You can also get it when we get to the river. Most of the time, there's a couple of shops we can stop at. But I go through what I do. So when you book a trip with me, normally it's best to book out a couple of 3 months. I normally book out quite a ways. So book a trip, we'll talk through everything on the phone over text, and then 48 hours ahead of time, I'm going to get a hold of you via text, let you know the weather forecast, the water forecast, what you need to bring, you know, sunscreen, snacks, drinks, whatever you want, stuff like that. So I'll go over all of that stuff and make sure that the clients understand exactly what they need as far as licensing, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it
Okay.
does, even more than, I think I want to go fish. You want to go fishing?
I always want to go
Yeah.
fishing.
Let's take y'all fishing.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Oh, how long, when you say a trip?
So I've got 3 different trips that I offer. I do a half day, which is 3 to 4 hours, and that's 3 to 4 hours of fishing time, right? So that doesn't include drive time, stuff like that. I do a long half day, which is the 5 to 6 hours, which is probably my most popular trip, and then a full day. We don't really run a timer on a full
Do
day
you
trip.
do all shoreline or do you go out in boats?
I've got 2 different boats that I can run, and then I also do wade fishing. So I've got it's a drift boat, but it's a raft, so it's kind of a weird classification.
It's kind of like my kayak.
Yeah, it's real similar. So anywhere you can take your kayak, I can take my drift boat. So you can have, I actually 2 weeks ago I was over on Norfolk, had 2 7-year-old clients standing up fly fishing the whole time in this raft. So it's super, super stable. We can pack everything in, so if you want to do an overnight float trip on, say, the Buffalo or War Eagle, something like that, do an overnight trip, we can put all the camping gear in there. But anywhere you can take a kayak, I can take this. And then I've got a skeeter that I ordered that's coming in, so I'll run that on all the, like the rivers and the lakes, some bigger stuff. And then we do a lot of wade fishing too. I mean, we're very blessed in the Ozarks to have just a tremendous amount of water that we can just put some flip-flops on and take off and start wading. Yeah, flip-flops. I wear them all the time. I either wear cowboy boots or flip-flops. I rodeoed all through high school and college, so I'm either going to show up looking like a rodeo cowboy or a fishing bum, and there's not really an in-between there. It's kind of,
There you go.
it is what it is.
That's good.
So.
Christy, I think we found our next adventure.
I'm all for
Talk
it.
to your sister and let's book a trip.
Let's do it.
Beaver sounds like fun.
Beaver Lake is one of those places. The lake itself is it's a gorgeous lake, but I don't guide in the summertime on the lake because it's just dangerous.
Yeah.
It's a very narrow lake, and so when you got all those ski boats, which nothing against them, hey, we share the lake with everybody, but when you're running those big waves, we've got a lot of bluff lines. So it runs to the bluff line and comes back, and people don't realize that. It doesn't dissipate as you go, it comes back. So when you've got a really narrow lake and you've got 40 or 50 boats running around, it's just it's a
Yeah.
very dangerous place to be.
Yeah. The fish don't like it either.
They don't. They tend to shut off. So it's one of those deals. You either get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and you're on the water when the sun's coming up. And I'm not talking like 6 o'clock. I'm talking when it's getting gray,
Yeah.
5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Right.
You're in your spot. So we're launching at 5, and by 8:30 when the pleasure boaters come out, we're getting off the water. So that's about the only way I guide on beaver during the summertime. The rest of the time we're doing a lot of the rivers.
So what time of the year is the best time to go fishing?
Depends on what you want to target. I love that question, but I also hate it because there's
Yeah.
no specific answer, right?
Gotcha.
We've got a different season. Springtime, early springtime is our walleye season. February through March, April is our walleye season. March through June is kind of our everything season. It's when our water warms up and the fish spawn, so they want to do everything. Everything's going to eat. Then you've got June, July, August. That's our smallmouth season. We really target the smallmouth hard. And fall, again, everything starts to eat. And then wintertime, we kind of follow that back up with starting our walleye, and then we do our targeting our stripers and stuff like that. So.
Well, I could talk to him
I know.
forever, couldn't you?
Yeah, I think we're going to do autumn fishing?
Yeah, I think that's great.
Let's do it.
So one more time, because
Yep.
we're about out of time, but
Sure.
let's talk about how we get a hold of Red and Jill.
Yep,
Jill
Jill
gets
got a
to
dog.
come on our trip, right?
Yeah, oh yeah,
Okay,
she's
good.
on all of them. Phone number?
Yes.
479-366-1402. Facebook, Red's Guide Service. And then Instagram, it's Reds_Guide_service.
Yes.
Send me a message. Those are kind of the easiest ways. And again, if you see me in town, stop me and talk to me.
Okay.
I love talking with folks, and I booked a lot of trips just talking to folks in the parking lot.
Oh, I'm
So,
sure
I bet you did.
have. I'm
Yeah.
sure you
There
have.
you go.
Well, thank you so much. And you know what?
Absolutely.
I love these adventures I have because you never know where my next guest is going to come from, and I
That's
love
right.
that.
That's
yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Well,
Thank-
guys, thanks for having me.
Thank
It's
you
been
for
fun.
been a
being
pleasure.
here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I hope Jill didn't mind too much. She's
Oh, she's having fun. She's ready to go fishing. Is
Oh,
what it is. We're
okay.
going fishing this afternoon, and she
She's
knows
like,
it.
fishing?
Yeah, I told her.
Fishing?
I told her this morning we're going fishing, so she's ready to go.
okay. Well, thanks again.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
And Bella Vista, please welcome my new co-host. You're going to see a lot more of her. And we're going to do some fun things. And again, thanks to our amazing guests for today. This is JB Portillo and
Kristy Snyder.
signing off for Bella Vista Community Television. We will see you next month.
Various times. This has been a presentation of Bella Vista Community Television. Thank you for joining us.